Hello everybody, Realm Builder Guy here, and welcome back to the channel, and a new game review here on the channel, a new historical strategy game review. People seem to be liking them. I actually really enjoy doing these. It gives me a chance to dive into a few different games and try some stuff out. Today's video is going to be about Unity of Command 2. We're going to take a look at the new DLC, Barbarossa, but also just in general, what is Unity of Command 2? What does it entail? How do you play it? And why is it actually a really awesome and addictive game? This game is from either 2x2 Games or 2x2 Games. Not 100% sure, but they were kind enough to send it to me and for testing and to kind of see what I think. And it's fun. It's challenging. It's fun, and I'll get into it and kind of show you guys what it's all about, and we'll start a campaign because that's the best way to kind of walk you through all the different features of the game. As always, all likes and comments and views are greatly appreciated. If you haven't subscribed yet, maybe consider doing that now so you don't miss out on any other strategy game reviews or any other historical strategy game content here on the channel moving forward. So what is Unity of Command 2? Well, it's based upon really one of the top games of the past, really popular in Unity of Command. And it is a hex and turn-based World War II strategy game, and it is mission-based. And I'll walk you through that here in a minute. But first, as always, we're going to go through the different options. So you've got your general overview here, the different gameplay features that you can do. I just tend to go with the standard ones. You can also set your reminders, which is really, really helpful. And here you can see your basic controls. Again, WASD-QE. It's really the stuff that I use a lot. And the space bar for extra movement. And then the other one, of course, that's really important for me is, I'll show it here, V supply view. Yes, supply. Very important, as with any of these strategic war games. So it's very straightforward. I do recommend the first thing you do is go through the tutorial. That really does a great job at explaining a lot of things on how this game works. Graphically, I find this game very pleasing. It's fairly easy to pick up, but not easy to master. And I will show you all the different facets of it now. So first thing, you're going to click a new game, and you have a number of different campaigns or scenarios, as well as test plays here. These are all from the Barbarossa DLC that you can try. And you've got different scenarios you can play, and then the greater campaigns. The second front, which is from Normandy to the Elbe. So basically that push through France, Belgium, Netherlands, and Germany. Victory in the West, where you actually start in North Africa, go through different through different missions, complete the missions, to then land in Italy and advance forward. Then you have Blitzkrieg, which focuses a lot on the wars. Frontier, let's say what am I looking for the word here? The theater of war in places like Norway and Poland. But we're going to start with Barbarossa here today, to kind of show you all the different aspects of the game. Now, Barbarossa, of course, is the, as it says here, Barbarossa, a clash of titans. The Third Reich and the Red Bear are at war, a conflict both view as inevitable, but for which neither is ready. The Soviet army is woefully unprepared for the pace of modern warfare, and still recovering from a disastrous purge of its best officers. Germany has operational dominance, but critically underestimates the vastness of Russia, severity of her winters, and the tenacity of her people. Difficulty, you can do easy, which obviously is easy as it says. You can do normal, which gives you some bonuses. Then you can do classic, which basically there are no bonuses, and hard. We're just going to click on classic and go with OK. So the first thing you are confronted with here in the campaign is this. So you have your overall strategic map that you view. Then you've got your different theaters here. You're, of course, the Germans invading the Soviet Union. You can focus in on the south or on the north. Now, what you're starting with here is your prestige. Prestige is something that you gain as you advance through the campaign, and the prestige points can be then spent on different things. An example here, this is Heeresgruppe Nord. If we click on that, you can use prestige points to buy certain upgrades. Then you can also use your prestige points for the buying of these cards. Now we've got 4 open slots and we have 5 cards. Usually one is, I mean, when you play normal, I think one is free, but nothing here is free. So you have different ones. You've got your bombers. So this is a theater asset. When you use the card, I will show this to you. It gives you additional bombers. So we will do that. The CPs, these are, this helps your refill the command points of an in-supply headquarters. We will do that because I'll show you that. Then we will do the Luftflotte, something I really like. This is air attack asset. And then we will do air supply, because supply is so critical and so important. So you can see each one cost more prestige. Now, if we go through the different units, we can add more here as well and spend some money. So let's do that here. We will add something in logistics. Let's add, something in engineering for these guys. Again, I'm just kind of bouncing through this a little bit by bit. We'll add logistics. We'll add more force pool. Heeresgruppe Mitte. Logistics, as you can tell, is something that I consider very important. We'll go to Heeresgruppe Süd here, and add some more logistics there. We have used up most of our prestige, and now we are ready to progress. So again, these cards are very important because you'll be able to use them. I'll be honest, the air recon is kind of good for general strategic planning, and I used this a lot in a few of the other campaigns. My failures so far in Barbarossa, I found the recon not as important as making sure you can refill your command points, resupply units quickly, as well as the air support. So now we will end the conference, as this is called. You can also click on menu here and save and go back as well. But we will end the conference, and now we can choose a scenario. We can either go with Heeresgruppe Nord, or we can go with Heeresgruppe Mitte. So let's go with the Heeresgruppe Nord, because that's also where we spent some of our prestige points, and we will start this scenario. So you can read here, although the smallest of the 3 German army groups, North, or Nord, still faces a daunting set of objectives. First on its list is to destroy the Soviet Northwestern Front while racing to cross the Daugava-Dwina River. The aforementioned Soviet front is in competent hands, but spread thin and with little in the way of immediate reserves. So you have 7 turns to complete this mission. Bonus objectives. Taking these objectives will improve your starting situation in future scenarios, and that is Daugavpils Crossing. Okay, Heeresgruppe Nord is Oberkommando dispatch. The divisions of Army Group North await your orders. Your general objective is to annihilate the Soviet Northwestern Front. It's equally crucial that your forces reach and cross the Daugava River before the Soviets can mobilize reserves and block such a crossing. Turn 4 or 5. You can expect smaller local counterattacks and a few air attacks, but these will doubtless prove to be mere nuisances. Do not hesitate, do not hold back. The Red Army must be dealt a swift and deadly blow. All right, we'll click continue here. And right now we are in the deployment phase. Again, you can use your mouse, but I prefer, of course, WASD because it is the superior way to move around a map. I don't care what other people say. Ha! So, anyway, we have our deployment phase here to start off with. There's not much to say because you can't really do much with the units. It's more about possibly utilizing different command points here. Usually you would be able to do a few different things here, including your entrench, fortifications, repair bridge, and so on. You can also move your headquarters. So let me show you the different yeah, let's say the different units and the different things here on the UI screen at this point before we get into the actual battle. Now, you have your cards down here. You don't have access to them right now, but if you click on them, you can utilize them. We are, of course, in the deployment phase where you can't utilize them. Here you have your different supports. So we've got an air attack, an air recon twice, as well as flying artillery. Here it shows your ticking prestige that you are gaining through the different things that you achieve. Up here we can cycle through the units. You can skip a unit, and you can undo a move, which I always find very important. Here it shows you the current theater supply, as well as trucks. You can add trucks from your cards. Here is where your supply network sits, and creating a new hub. We do have one truck available right now, and a few other assets here. Now we can toggle objectives and scores, so it'll show you the prestige score here for each objective. And then it'll show you the individual objectives here. You can click on the objective, and it'll go there and show you where it is. So by turn 4, one of our main objectives. So up here you have your main objectives, and here are your bonus objectives. These you need to achieve by this turn, otherwise you fail the mission. And then you've got Riga over here. So you have 2 main objectives. Now you also have bonus objectives that help you. So the crossing here is a bonus objective. Kaunas down here is a bonus objective. Liepaja over here is a bonus objectives. And then Yekapil's crossing is another bonus objective. And all of these give you different bonuses depending on if you achieve them. I like to use some of these as a general guide. Now we need to get to the Daugava River, and Kaunas is on the way and is a bonus objective. It is also a supply spot, so capturing this be very important because supply is king in this game. Now here you've got different quick, I guess, map views. You can click on them. You can also just use a hotkey, enemy supply view, or you can press B. It kind of shows where the enemy supply is. Then your own supply here, or V, and you can see these barrels indicate everywhere where you can set up a supply spot. And here in red shows where there is basically you're out of supply, and here's where the supply routes go, so where your units would still be in supply. Then you can on your terrain view, so it shows what you're dealing with here, or you can, honestly just take a look at it. Then weather, in case you are dealing with weather, it'll show it there. And then movement view, and it'll show you different move, as it says right here. Show icons for zone of control. So basically, where's the zone of control of each enemy unit that you are dealing with? Then on the map itself, you can see the different towns that are on basically captured by you. We are the Germans, so everything we have is kind of this bluish color. Everything the Soviets hold is in a more reddish color. Then you have a number of different units. Here is your military unit. So this is a German security unit. Then we've got a German infantry unit. We have scenarios remaining. How many scenarios remain to be played with this unit in the campaign? So 3. Then here it shows your attack value, your defense value, your movement, so 3 plus 1, and I'll explain movement in a second, and the defense armor. Then here it shows the steps and specialists, maximum steps, as well as your maximum specialists. The experience, so this is a veteran unit, and movement is infantry. Here it shows your action points and movement points. We're in a deployment phase, so there's nothing really there. The steps are really important because when you lose all your steps, your unit is annihilated. We also then here have a German motorized division, and then of course we have a German Panzer Division. Then here we can see a supply, as well as these are headquarter units. Headquarter units are very, very important because you can see here, everything that's kind of in this white dotted range is the command range. So the influence that they have and where they can spend some of these points, like reinforcement and resupply and so on and so forth. So once a unit moves out of that, or too many units have advanced out of it, you will then click on this move icon and move your headquarters accordingly. Same here. So each headquarters has a different, call it command range. Now, as far as your supply goes, it's really, really important. Again, I will just click on V here, and you can see we have got supply here and supply there, and how far it ranges. Now, we have one more truck available, so we could create another supply somewhere up here. Now, be careful, you don't want the enemy to capture it, so keep that in mind. Or we can go to an individual unit like here, and with the mouse wheel, we scroll up, we've added that additional truck. See up here, there's a truck, mouse wheel up, and look how it extends its range. You can see now how far the supply range is and how much supply they get. So the closer you are here, you get 8s and 7s and 6s, and then here across the river in this forest, that unit would only have supply of 2. So we will do that, and we will confirm and accept the supply changes. So we could also just skip it, undo it. We can create a new supply hub and create it right there, confirm it, and now we have a regional supply. Now, we're not going to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do, we're going to click here and do what I wanted to do, and we will confirm that. And now let's start. Let's end the battle preparation and start this little mission here. So now everything is available. You can see here we've got our different, I call these always the support units. So we've got our air attack, got our air recon, and flying artillery. We can also utilize a card if we so choose to, which I won't just yet, but I will use these. And again, we're not going to play this scenario out all the way to the end. It's easiest to kind of show you what everything does to really explain it. So in a combat situation, let's take this 61st Infantry Division here. Click on them and you see everything that is in orange. Well, that is the movement that this unit can do and still have an available attack. So we can move all the way here and have it attack. It also gives you kind of a preview of what the attack situation, the combat situation would be like. So here again, we have a 1-1. So what does that mean? So a 1-1, if you look on the right-hand side, you can see the first number is the expected losses you take. The second number is the expected losses the enemy takes. And you can also see the different steps. So if we click on that, there, that is a combat. Now we shot and we can still move. So if we move them here, now we can take this unit, move them in a position, and they can attack as well. And you can just keep moving these units accordingly. Now, you notice here, these guys had a 1-1 situation. These guys had a 2-1. Why? Well, that's simply down to the stats and attributes of the different units. So this is a security unit. Security unit would be a 4-0, would not be good against that infantry unit. So what security units then for me would do is kind of get around and try to capture enemy supply. Now you can also encircle the enemy so they will just lose effectiveness with time because you're cutting them off from supply. But just always be mindful that that could happen to you as well. So now I'm going to show you what these do here. We're going to do an air attack. We're just going to keep picking on this unit right here. So you click on that and then you click on your target objective and boom, there was another attack. Now you can see this was a 2-1 before with this 291st Infantry Division, the German infantry here, and now it is a 1-1. It is a more equal battle. Right-clicking ends that. We're going to move these guys up front, and I'm going to show you something here. We are going to actually do a feint attack. So that does hurt the enemy unit, but what that also did, it further weakened them. And now we can have another attack from them, and they had to retreat. So now after that, this unit can move, because using any of these attacks down here, no retreat, action points, or set piece attack, got feint attack, suppressive fire, they all have advantages, but they use up most of your action points, so you can't really move. Now these guys we can continue moving with. We'll move those guys into position, or we can hit space. We can't move those guys further. If you hit space, it shows you, so we have everything in orange here. This is where we can move and still attack. Or you hit space and it shows you blue, and that's extended range, but you can no longer attack if you make that move. So we'll just move these guys into positions here as we get into the right kind of position. Now, their movement is ended because they have entered an enemy zone of control. Move that tank unit up here, have a little attack with them. And now we can do another attack here. So you just kind of have to play the strategy game of softening up a target with a different unit as you move forward. Now, playing a card, you can do different things here. We can do a Luftflotte. So this adds +1 per turn to air attack theater asset and +1 used to flying artillery. Card recoup value is 30. So you would grab it, click on it, hold it with your left mouse button, and then drop it in there. Now we have a +1 to our air attacks. Now we can also do a theater asset, so add +1 per turn to air attack theater asset. Add that. We've got another one here on air recon. One thing about those cards, as you're moving through the scenarios within a, each campaign has multiple scenarios. Each scenario has multiple missions. These cards do not replenish until that scenario is essentially complete. Then you have another conference, you can add more cards. So you don't want to blow all of your cards right away on the first mission, because now I've used them. If we get through this mission, I cannot use them again. So air recon, what that does, this is long range air recon. We can have them fly over and kind of show where is the enemy position. So let's actually do that a little further. Let's look over here, Daugava River. Kind of shows you where there are possible enemy units and where it's scouted. You can see here it did find there are some enemy units here. So that's where the air recon comes in, is to kind of help you with your strategy formulation. Now let's do a flying artillery just because it's cool. Come over here and hammer that unit. So now that that's happened, we're going to move these guys in here and start softening up these targets a little bit. Now it's a 0-2. So this is a complete win situation for you. We first had the air attack. Then we had this infantry division attack. Again, they lost more. They're pretty weak now. And we beat them and they retreated accordingly. So now you can hit space and you can see where all can we move to. They could move there, but why? We're already in that space, and these guys can't move any further because they already used all their movement points and there's zone of control issues here. We'll just complete that one. So as you move through these objectives, always keep an eye on these, which turn you're on. This is still turn 1. We also, by turn 4, this shows you the enemy reinforcements that are coming. So keep that in mind. So the faster you get things done, the better. Next thing I want to show you here, if we click on our headquarter, you have different things you can do. You can tell them to repair a bridge. No, we don't have anybody that can repair a bridge right now because there's no need to. You can do a river crossing and then select a unit to do a river crossing. Then here, entrenchment, you can tell a unit to entrench. So we'll just tell those guys to entrench. We've got multiple units that can entrench until you've used up all those movement points. Let's click on this headquarter here, which you can also access over here. Here you can then also add emergency supply to units. You can do oversupply to a unit. You can direct a feint attack. So these guys are available for a feint attack because it all comes from the command radius. Then you can also do suppressive fire. You can do recon, enforce. Let's see what else. If we do that feint attack here and then a target, and there you have now done your feint attack. Then here on this button, you've got a deploy step. So you can deploy additional units that come later if you have reinforcements. Here you've got a reorganize, so you can reorganize a specific unit. Here you can transfer steps from one unit to the next. And then here you can Kampfgruppe security group. Anyway, then here are your command points you still have remaining. So we have plenty of stuff we can do. All of these cost command points. There are little numbers down here. Show your engineering, logistics, operation, your force pool overall. Here you have the experience points you've earned, and you can, of course, move. So I'll show you how that goes. We'll move them up here. So that has extended the command radius up here, but all these units now are out of command radius because they are attached to this headquarter. So that's all something to keep in mind. And again, you will progress mission to mission to mission through the different scenarios, and then the campaign itself comes to a close. So now I've loaded up one of my other campaigns that I started. This is the Western Front campaign. As you can see, we started down here in North Africa. We had two missions and scenarios we had to complete here. Head over here, and now we are advancing through Italy bit by bit by bit. So there are little missions here or scenarios. Now you have another scenario. Right now, we have no more conferences to go through, and we can start the scenario. I still have 200 prestige points, so I could go in here and buy this stuff if it was a conference. This is not a conference. This is just going to the next scenario within this entire campaign of trying to conquer Italy. But it gives you kind of a general feel of what it then looks like as you advance and what happens as you advance. Prestige has grown. Score is 516. This was played on normal difficulty. Now you can see this is the Mediterranean map. If we look at the strategic map, this is the overall advance that we've made. And there you have a review and an overview of what Unity of Command 2 does. Now, this was not an overly scripted review because I didn't want it to be. I wanted it to be a little bit more narrative and kind of talking you through the different options and really showing you what it all does. I hope you enjoyed it. My personal opinion on Unity of Command 2 is it's the typical just one more turn game. Let me just play one more turn. Let me just see what happens here. It's really addictive. It's easy to save. So, I mean, you can stop where you were and then pick it back up. It's a lot of fun. There are a lot of dynamic strategies that you can implement. Barbarossa is difficult. Western Front is not as difficult. So, you know, Barbarossa is the latest DLC, but if you get the base game, you're going to get hours and hours of fun out of this. Then you add the DLCs as you expand on your experience in the game. As I mentioned before, probably the best way to sum this game up, aside from it being a lot of fun and a little bit of a different look for a World War II game, is that it is easy to understand, but hard to master. There are so many different moving parts. I can only recommend this game to you. Unity Command is not available through my Nexus GG store. You can buy other games, link in the description. I will put a link in the description to the Steam page for Unity Command 2. I highly recommend you check it out if you enjoy World War II or just in general strategy games like this, war strategy games, and you like the World War II theater era and so on and playing in it. This is a really fun and dynamic way of playing. I think it looks good graphically. It plays well, it's super smooth, it's not buggy, and it gives you plenty of challenges along the road. And with all the different campaigns, if you put in the different DLCs, so many, such a huge variety of gameplay options and many, many hours of fun. So if you enjoyed this, please hit that like button. Let me know if you've played Unity of Command 2 or 1 and what your impressions are, and if this is something you may want to consider in the future. So, until next time, I am Realm Builder Guy, and I will talk to you soon.